Okay. I shared my slide with you the other time. Can you see the slide now, please? Can you?
Yes,
Yes,
from
sir.
my side.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So like I said, the title of this course is Knowledge, Understanding, and Skills in Social Work. And if you look at the three concepts, knowledge, understanding, skills, you know that one leads into the other. And, progressively, when you know something, you gain understanding of it. And when you gain understanding, that becomes your skills. You can use it as at when due or whenever the need arises. So you need to know. Knowing that you need to understand it, how it works. Then you now put it into practice. That is the skill, you practicalize it. You get it? So social work is a dynamic and demanding profession that requires a variety of skills and qualities to ensure quality service delivery in social work. Professionals need to possess a comprehensive understanding and specific skills, whether these skills are innate or acquired. That is, whether they are inborn or you learned them, that is acquired. Success in the field requires social workers to continually develop them throughout the lifetime of their career so that you don't become outdated. The skills we started with in social work are not the same thing. We have, there is some level of advancement in what started with, and it will continue like that, to upgrade whatever skill you think you have. I believe many of you have different skills in your field, different areas of endeavor, but you are also adding this to yourself. It's a way of upgrading. Either you are an accountant, whatever you think you are, you still want to add something in social work to it. You get it. And it doesn't stop there. You still need to keep on building on what you have already known. So like I said, success in the field requires social workers to continually develop themselves or develop those skills throughout their lifetime, in their career. Here are some key areas of knowledge and skills that are important in social work. We talk about knowledge of social system. Social workers need a deep understanding of social systems, including families, communities, organizations, and societies. This knowledge helps them comprehend the complex interactions and influences that impact individuals and communities. There are some things you need to know about families where you find yourself. If you find yourself, for example, among the Ashantis in Ghana, you know what they practice there is not patriarchy, they practice matriarchy. That is a family system you need to understand. And when you talk about matriarchy means the power belongs to the woman, as against what we practice in Nigeria. It's not the entire Ghana that practice, matriarchy, but the Ashantis, which was why Jerry Rawlings was able to be the president of America. The president of Ghana. The father was not a Ghanaian, but the mom was a Ghanaian. I'm from the Ashanti. And because the Ashanti, the woman owns the child. You get it? So she gets all the benefits and privileges that come, in that society. And because the mother happened to be, from the Ashanti community or group, that was why I was able to be the president of Ghana. So you need to understand different societies. You need to understand how things work. You need to understand even the religious system in any society you find yourself. Even in this our own society, it is known among the Catholic that that contraceptive is not permitted. You need to know some religion like people from apostolic or faith. They don't believe in medication. So you need to have the understanding of and how these, systems work together and which one influences which one. If you find yourself working in the northern part of Nigeria, it is believed among the core Muslims that even when they get to the hospital and their wife is pregnant and there is no female medical practitioners around, they go back home because another man must not see the nakedness of their wives. So you need to have this knowledge of social systems, including the family, the communities, the organization, the societies. You need to have the knowledge. Another knowledge you need to have is the human behavior and development. Social workers should have knowledge of human behavior and development across lifespan at different levels, different stage or stages of our life. We need to know at a particular age, by the time somebody is young, we deal with every, developmental stage of human being. The children, the youth, the teenagers, the adolescent, the married, the single, the aged. So you need to know what is particular about each of these developmental stages. So you need to know human behavior and development. Social workers should have knowledge of human behavior and development across lifespan. This understanding allowed them to assess and address the unique needs and challenges of their clients at different stages of life. You need to understand when a woman is, is old, you need to understand what is, peculiar to them. When men are old, what is peculiar to them? When children become adolescents, what is peculiar to them? When they're in their teens, what is peculiar to them? So you will know how to undo them. There are some things we were doing when we were growing up, and when we see younger people doing now, we just smile. What are these children doing? But look back, when you are at the same age, you did the same. You get it? So you need to know these developmental stages and what is peculiar to them and how to handle their cases. You get it? That youthful exuberance is there. They will want to explore. They will want to. But when you are telling them this is to your own detriment, they may not understand. You and I might be lucky that things of such did not happen to us, but they may not be lucky. That's why we need to know how, to handle different developmental stages. Another one is social welfare policies and resources. As a social worker, you need to understand all these policies and resources that are available so you can know what kind of, advocacy or what kind of advice you will give your clients. You know where to refer them to. So you can't say you are ignorant of those resources that are available, those policies that have been put in place by the government where you found yourself. Because if you do anything against the policies, you will face the wrath of the law. Then you need to know the resources that are available. That you have a client, you have indigent clients, you must know where to refer them to. There are agencies that have been put in place to help those people who have such challenges. So social workers need to be knowledgeable about social welfare policies and the available community resources. This knowledge enables them to advocate for their clients and connect them with appropriate services and support. That's number 3. Is there anything you don't understand from the first 3? Hello? Is there anyone you don't understand, please?
We are with you. It's clear. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So move to the 4th one, which is assessment and intervention skills. You need to know how to assess different cases. Okay. Angela, what did you say?
Sorry, sir. I didn't know that I had joined.
Please mute your mic. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah. So the fourth one is assessment and intervention skills. Even when you want to intervene, you need to possess the skill. You don't just go headlong into every case. There are skills, there are procedures to follow. Social workers need strong assessment skills to gather comprehensive information about their clients' needs, their strengths, and the circumstances in which they found themselves. They also require intervention skills to develop and implement effective strategies and interventions to address these needs. You have a case of rape. You must know how to assess the case. You must know if it was truly a rape. You just need to know the right questions to ask in order for you to get the necessary information you need. And after getting that, you must know how to intervene. Social worker, you are not a policeman, you are not a law enforcement agent, but you can contact those who are empowered by the law of the land to carry out arrest. Not you. If not, they will beat you blue-black. You get it. So you need the assessment skills and intervention skills. The fifth one is communication and engagement. If you cannot communicate clearly and well, please, this is not a discipline for you. This is not a profession for you. Effective communication skills are essential for social workers to build relationships with clients, establish trust, and facilitate meaningful conversation. They should be able to listen actively. Please, listening in social work is a skill. It's a skill that you must, M-U-S-T, you must have. You must have that listening skill. You listen actively. You must know how to empathize. Empathy, not sympathy. Empathize and convey information in a clear and respectful manner. Social workers are not rude. Social workers respect their clients. And as you know, respect begat respect. You give it, then you earn it. That is it. In a respectful manner. Another one is cultural competence. You need to understand the culture.
Can we see number 1 and number 2? Sorry, for those of us that joined it. Sorry to push you back.
Madam, because of you people, I waited 10 minutes before I started my class.
I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I set my
worry.
alarm, but it didn't ring out.
Let's just continue from where we are. We wait. In fact, they said I should start. I said, no, that 10 minutes must reach. And we started 12:10. So please, you can't take us back. So we talk about cultural competence. You must understand the milieu where you are working. You must understand the environment. That you are a Yoruba doesn't mean that you don't understand the Igbo culture where you are functioning. That you are Igbo doesn't mean that you should not understand the culture of the Yoruba where you found yourself. Social workers need to be culturally competent and sensitive to the diversity of their clients' background and experiences. Cultural competence involves understanding and respecting different cultural beliefs. You need to put your belief by the side. You are there as a professional, not as a Christian or a Muslim. So you are there to provide services. You are there to provide services. So you need to understand the cultural background of your clients. You know, we talk about being ethnocentric. You are not supposed to be ethnocentric as a social worker, meaning that you don't judge other people's culture based on your own culture. You don't see your own culture as being superior to other people's culture. You are not to be ethnocentric. Relate with your clients as they are. If they are Christian, fine. If they are Muslim, fine. If they are Igbos, fine. If they are Hausa, fine. You don't have anything to do. The issue you have business with is what brought them to you. Because if they have religious problem, they will have gone to their pastor or to their imam. You are not there as a priest. You get it? You are not there as a priest. You are there to provide professional services. Cultural competence involves understanding and respecting different cultural beliefs, values, and practices, and being able to work effectively with diverse population. As a social worker, you are not to determine who will come to you. They will come. Either as a private, professional, or you are in a public environment. The seventh one is ethical practice. You must know what is ethical and what is unethical. As a social worker, you are not to have any attachment apart from your professional work with your client. You don't go beyond boundaries. You need to create boundaries for yourself as a professional social worker. Social workers must have a solid understanding of ethical principles and values. They should be able to navigate ethical dilemmas, maintain confidentiality, and adhere to professional codes of conduct. There are, rules guiding this profession, and you cannot claim ignorance of any one of them. Then the eighth one is case management and advocacy. How do you manage cases? It has to do with your timing. It has to do with proper arrangements. It has to do with proper, keeping of information. You are not meant to be careless with your client's information. It is not what you get home and you start discussing with your spouse, honey. If you see what happened today, a lady came to my office. No, it is not what you discuss with your friend. You are meant to be a professional. Social workers often need to engage in case management activities, including coordinating services, collaborating with other professionals, and advocating for their clients' rights and needs. That's advocacy. That's the eighth one. Is anyone we didn't understand? Is that what? What did you say? Okay. Can we proceed?
Yes, you can proceed.
Please
The
go
ninth
ahead, sir.
one, crisis intervention and trauma-informed practice. Crisis intervention and trauma-informed practice. On that trauma-informed practice alone, a student I supervised last year wrote a project. That is a PGD student, trauma-informed practice, somewhere in Suleja, in Suleja. Social workers should be equipped with skills to respond effectively in crisis situations. How to handle crisis is like the motto of Boy Scouts. Be prepared. You get it? You must be always ready. Social workers should be equipped with skills to respond effectively in crisis situations and provide trauma-informed care. Training in crisis intervention helps them support individuals and communities during emergencies or traumatic events. like flood, like fire outbreak. These are crisis, situations. These are crisis situations. Then you must know the kind of intervention you provide. We are not saying you should spend your money, but there are agencies, referral, like we talk. Well, okay, you must know where to refer them to. You must know how to advocacy. No, the issue of advocacy is two ways. It's either you advocate for or you advocate against. When you advocate for, that is for something to be put in place. When you advocate against, that means something should be eradicated. A practice should be eradicated. So you must know how to, involve and where to come in as a social worker. Then the third one talks about reflective practice and self-care. Reflective practice and self-care. Yes, we know that we are social workers. We carry people's cases on our head. We must see that we provide the necessary support for these people. We must see that, we must not leave these people like this. We must see that their cases are settled. But please always know that it is when you are okay that you attend to people's need. It's like a case of a message and a horse. If the horse dies, that message will be given to somebody else to deliver it. You are the horse. I am the horse. We have a message, the message of welfare, the message of advocating for others. But if we fail to take care of our own selves, the unexpected might happen, and that message will be handled or given to somebody else to deliver. Social workers should be equipped with skills to respond. Being a social worker can be emotionally and mentally demanding. Professionals need skills in reflective practice to regularly evaluate and learn from their experiences. You reflect on what you have done before, and that will guide you for a similar case. So you won't have to start again from the beginning. You keep your record and you reflect on what you have done in the past. They should also practice self-care to prevent burnout and enhance their own well-being. So that is it. Don't say you are taking care of others and you neglect yourself. Continuous learning and professional development as new research interventions and practice models continually emerge. So you can't stop learning. If not, whatever you think you have will become obsolete and you'll not be able to function well, with the modern or the current happenings. By continuously expanding their knowledge and honoring their skills, social workers can provide the highest quality service to their clients. I think the 10 skills I've talked about are well explained. Am I correct? Or is there any of them that you don't understand? Okay, so we can proceed. So we want to look at characteristics and skills of successful social workers. There are social workers that have gone through this path and they were so successful. So one of them is empathy. I mentioned that. Communication, organization, critical thinking, active listening, self-care, cultural competence, patience, professional commitment, advocacy, objectivity, persistence, flexibility, resilience, and drive. These are some of the skills and characteristics of successful social workers. And I strongly believe that you will want to be a successful social worker too. So the first one there is empathy. Empathy is the ability to identify with and understand another person's experience and point of view. This word empathy was coined by Max Weber. He called it Verstehen in sociology. And also, Sabat Mead was the one that talked about empathy. I think that's an English sociologist, while Max Weber, a German sociologist too. They both talk about empathy because Verstehen means empathy. That is putting yourself in other people's shoes. Especially when Max Weber was talking about it, he said for you to know why somebody who is homeless is behaving the way he or she is behaving, make yourself homeless first, then and see if you not behave the same way. That is just the summary of empathy. Empathy is the ability to identify with and understand another person's experience and point of view. National Association of Social Workers define it as the act of perceiving, understanding, experiencing, and responding to the emotional state and ideas of another person. Stepping into someone else's shoes and recognizing that experiences, perceptions, and worldviews are unique to each individual. Enable social worker. What is it, Oluwatosin? Please mute your mic, please, Oluwatosin. Your mic. Imagine.
You can mute him, sir. You
I've
can
done
mute
that.
participants.
I've done that. I've done that. Stepping into someone else's shoes and recognizing that experiences, perceptions, and worldviews are unique to each individual enables social workers to better understand and build stronger relationships with clients. If you as a social worker have that understanding that the world is not, the same for every individual, that where someone is facing the north, another person is facing the south. And when somebody is facing the east, another person is facing the west. So everyone is not having the same experiences or experience at the same time. If you can see that, then you will not treat all your clients the same way. You understand? Because you will see that different cases have different experiences. Even if you have two people having the same cases, their experiences will not be the same. Because what will influence their experience will have to do with their background, their socioeconomic status, so many things will involve that will make their experiences not the same. So if you understand as a social worker, we know you will know how best to handle your client's need based on his or her unique experiences in order to effectively or efficiently provide services. The second one there is communication. Communication, both verbal and non-verbal, is a vital skill for social workers. The ability to communicate clearly with a wide range of people is essential. It is the duty of a social worker or social workers to advocate for their clients. In order to do this, social workers must understand the client's need. In addition to being cognizant of body language and other non-verbal cues, this means communicating appropriately and effectively with clients regardless of cultural background, age, gender, literacy skill level, or disability. Social workers must also communicate with care providers, colleagues, and agencies, and must document and report information in a clear manner. So you can see how important communication is. If you don't know, if you cannot communicate effectively and efficiently, this is not a profession for you, except you are ready to learn it. And that's why you are here. Then the third one is organization. Social workers have busy schedules and a wide range of responsibilities in addition to managing and supporting multiple clients, including documentation, reporting, billing, and collaboration. This requires social workers to be very organized. You have your daily, schedule list, to-do list. Before you leave office today, you put your to-do list for tomorrow. You can stick it to your system, to your computer, or stick it to your table tomorrow morning, 8:30, 9 o'clock, this. So that's help you to be well organized. Not that, oh, and I forgot, I told the client I'll be coming for house visit. No. You must be well organized. Have your to-do list. Have your diary. For each day, you go through it. You get it? Before you go to leave office today, open your diary. What do you have to do tomorrow? From your diary, you copy out that to-do list. You stick it to your system. And when you come tomorrow morning, there won't be any need for you to apologize. I forgot. I didn't remember. Because that's your forgetfulness can cost your clients a lot, which you might find it difficult to forgive you or can even sue you for that. You get it? So you need to be well organized as a social worker. This requires social workers to be very organized and able to prioritize clients' need, please. Your client is your priority in order to effectively manage cases. Disorganization and poor timing management could cause a social worker to overlook a client's need and result in negative outcomes. I've just said that. Then the other one, the fourth one, is critical thinking. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to analyze information gathered from unbiased observation and communication. You got information from your client, you observe, you need to be objective. You are still coming to objectivity. You need to be objective. Don't allow any sentiment. Don't allow for sentiment in your analysis. Social workers must be able to objectively evaluate. I just said you must be objective. No string attached. You must be able to objectively evaluate each case by collecting information through observation, interviews, and research. Thinking critically and without prejudice enables social workers to make informed decisions, identify the best resources, and formulate the best plan to help clients. Do we understand that? The next one is active listening. Active listening. Like I said the other time, listening is a skill. And you must have it. You listen. You don't interrupt or interject your client. Allow your client to give you the details of the case. And you take your note as he or she is talking with you. You also take note of the nonverbal communication. You put everything down. Your client is talking, you are taking notes. You can just say, wow, is that true? Is that how it happened? So just for him or her to know that you're also listening, not that you cut him short while he or she is talking. So active listening is necessary for social workers to understand and identify a client's need. Listening carefully, concentrating, asking the right questions, and utilizing techniques such as paraphrasing and summarizing also helps social workers to engage and establish trust with clients. The sixth one here is self-care. Self-care. Social worker can be demanding, like we said before, emotionally stressful. So it is important to engage in activities that help you to maintain a healthy work-life balance. Self-care refers to practices that help to reduce stress and improve health and well-being. As a social worker, you must know when to say yes and when to say no. You must know when to say we'll continue tomorrow. You don't need to kill yourself, because if you do, somebody else will pick up the job tomorrow. They will assign the case to your colleague. Engaging in these practices helps to prevent burnout and compassion fatigue, and is crucial to having a sustainable career. By taking the time to care for themselves, social workers are better able to provide the best services for their clients. Please don't neglect yourself. Don't. You must know when to say, okay, let's continue. You must know when to say, please, I think we can continue tomorrow. You get it. Then we talk about cultural competence. Like I said earlier, working effectively with clients from diverse backgrounds requires social workers to be respectful and responsive to cultural beliefs and practices. Social workers must be knowledgeable and respectful of their clients' cultural background and must, as stated by National Association of Social Workers, examine their own cultural background and identifies why seeking out the necessary knowledge, skills, and values that can enhance the delivery of services to people with varying cultural experiences associated with their race, ethnicity, gender, class, sexual orientation, religion, age, or disability. In Nigeria, thank God, we only have 2 sexual orientations here. Either you are a male or you are a female. So you can't do mistake by referring to somebody as to a man or referring to somebody as a woman. But when you find yourself in such environment or societies where it has been legalized, then you must know. So in order for you not to, cross the line, you may need to know you are, let the person introduce himself or herself. So the subsequent reference to the person, you will not make mistake. Because you'll not be referring to somebody, though he's a man, but he's a lady, and saying, gentleman, he will sue you for that. I'm not a man, I'm a man. You get it. All this you need to know. And this has to do with cultural competence. That's why you need to familiarize yourself with the environment where you find yourself. Religion, age, or disability. Possessing a non-judgmental attitude and an appreciation for diversity and the value of individual differences enable social workers to provide clients with what they need. Don't be biased. That is it. If a Christian comes to you, give it their best services. A Muslim, a male, a female, either physically challenged, is none of your business. What you are concerned with is the case they have brought to you. Then the 8th one here talks about patience. It is a skill you must have. Social workers encounter an array of circumstances and individuals in their work. It is important to have patience to walk through complex cases so that you don't make mistake. You need to have that patience. with clients who need longer period. Don't be in a hurry. You can as well another section with your clients. That can we continue this time next week? Can we continue this time tomorrow? You get it? Never be in a hurry so that you can get the necessary information to work with. So you may have clients who need longer periods of time to make progress. This empowers social workers to understand the client's situation and avoid hasty decision that can cost you and cost your client. Making and frustration that can lead to costly errors and poor outcome for the client. So never be in a hurry. Exercise patience. Then we talk about professional commitment. Professional commitment. Being successful in social work requires lifelong learning. Social workers must have a professional commitment to social work values and ethics and to continuously developing professional competence. This commitment is necessary for fulfilling the mission of social workers, that is, to enhance human well-being and help meet the basic human needs of all people, with particular attention to the needs and environment of people who are vulnerable, oppressed, and living in poverty. This is the mission of social workers, to enhance human well-being and help meet the basic human needs of all people without discrimination, with particular attention to the needs and the empowerment of people who are vulnerable, oppressed, and living in poverty. So you need to update yourself. You need to give yourself to this professional commitment so that you can have the up-to-date knowledge, skills to attend to such cases. Then the 10th one here is advocacy. Like I said earlier, advocacy could be for and against. You can advocate for, you can advocate against. Social workers promote social justice and empower clients and communities through advocacy. That's our tool, one of our strongest tools. Advocacy skills enable social workers to represent and argue for their clients and to connect them with needed resources and opportunities, especially when clients are vulnerable or unable to advocate for themselves. You must know how to advocate. You must know the agencies to meet to help your client. Then, like I said before, that we are still coming to objectivity. And this is the 11th one. You must be objective. Don't allow your personal beliefs or values to come in when you are dealing with your client. Be objective. Don't be subjective. See it the way the profession has seen it. Leave what your belief is all about. For example, if I give you a work to do as a Christian, and I say, okay, I want you to do something, it's a work for me concerning those people we call CSWs. Who are the CSWs? Can somebody help us? Who are the CSWs, please? Somebody in the class? What do you understand? What is the meaning of CSWs?
Commercial sex workers.
Thank you so much. That is the name we call them in research. They are not prostitutes. They are commercial sex or casual sex workers. That's what we call them, casual sex workers. If I give a born-again Christian to go and conduct a study, even before going to the field, the person will have concluded that they are children of the devil. They are useless. You get it? That is being subjective. But you need to go to the field and be objective. Just put your religion by the side and do your study. So don't say, no, the Muslims are always wicked. No, attend to them. Be objective. What is the case they brought to you? Leave your value. Leave your prejudices by the side. Leave your stereotypic idea by the side. And look at the case the way it is and be objective about it. Social workers witness the most vulnerable people in society requiring desperate help. However, while remaining empathetic, it is crucial to stay impartial. Be objective. You are to remain impartial and make appropriate and informed what? Decisions. Don't say because the person is from your tribe. In fact, she's from your village. Their house is next to your house in the village. No. Please be objective. You are to stay impartial and make appropriate and informed decisions. This is number 11. Do we understand all? Or there's anyone we didn't understand?
We are good.
Mr. Wazi, what did you say?
He said we are good. We are good.
Okay, thank
We
you.
are following.
Thank you. So we go to the next one, that is persistence. Serving people in complicated relationships and environments requires patience and persistence. Setbacks are inevitable. The persistent social worker remains focused, sets an example, and tries alternative approaches. Just have to be persistent. You don't give up. We look for alternative way. If it doesn't work this way, can we adopt this one? Can we go for this other one? That is it. That is persistence. The next one there is flexibility. Don't be too rigid. Don't be too rigid. No 2 days are the same in social work. Problems are frequently unexpected and do not follow a typical 9 to 5 schedule.
I can't hear you.
Yes, I think he has internet issue. Maybe we should just give him
Same
some
here
minutes.
too. True, I can't hear anything too.
We are together. Don't worry. We are still together. Fear not, for I am with you. No, I'm not Jesus Christ. Yeah. Can you still see my slide? It has disappeared, I guess.
No, we can't see it, sir.
Don't mind.
It has
Don't mind that
disappeared.
network. Don't mind the network. We are together. Are you seeing it now?
Yes.
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 Yes, sir.
Are we on flexibility now? Or we are done with flexibility?
No, we are on.
Well,
We are
We are on
We are
resilient.
flexibility. Yes, sir.
We are resilient.
Flexibility.
No, we have talked about flexibility now. Talking about your schedule.
resilient.
Sir, we are not done.
We are not done with flexibility.
Flexibility.
We are done with it.
Your
Like I
Okay.
said,
Do not be rigid. That's where you
oh,
stop.
yes, now
was bad.
that your schedule is 9 to 5 in the morning and from 9 to 5 p.m. in the evening. But there are some times that you may need to come earlier at 7. And sometimes we need to close later than 5. Don't say, no, my schedule is 9 to 5. I can't leave my house. Because this very profession is like a calling to serve others, to make life meaningful for those who are not seeing any meaning in life. So you may need to come out earlier. You may need to be in office by 7 a.m. You may need to close by 6. So we are talking about being flexible. Don't say, no, once it is 5, I'm leaving my office. Even as soon as it's quarter to 5, you can't see me again. So that talks about the flexibility. We talk about that. Then the 14th one is resilience. Resilience. To avoid burnout, social workers will need to learn coping mechanism and know when to say no. Because you know how the thing is doing in your body. You know the way you are feeling. Please, can we meet next week? The next 2 days I will not be around. I need to take care of myself. To avoid burnout, social workers will need to learn coping mechanisms and know when to say no. Resilience helps to bounce back from challenging and emotionally draining days to face the next client and tomorrow. If you kill yourself over a single case, other people will handle the remaining case. So you must know when to say no. We must know how to also, he's still talking about self-care. So it is the resilience that we're able to say no, at least we can, let's miss next week. You get it. So we must know how to do that. You must know when to say no. And the last one there is number 15. Okay, not the last one anyway. We have drive. Social work can be highly satisfying and rewarding. Those are the things that is driving you to do more. That is drive. Helping people who need it the most requires individuals to learn new skills and be motivated to be their best. While maintaining self-care, a driven social worker commits to providing the best service to their client. You are just being moved by the profession. You are just being there, loving helping people, loving putting smiles on people's faces. And that's a drive. And with that, you still try to, update yourself, providing in order to provide the best service or services to your client. Acquiring, learning new skills. Then the 16th one there is time management. Time management. Nobody has more than 24 hours. So you must know how to manage your 24 hours. That 24 hours, you will attend to your personal needs. Within that 24 hours, if you're a married man, married woman, you have roles, different roles you are playing. You play your role as a father. You play your role as a husband. You play your role. Work. None of them must suffer.
We lost the facilitator. I think he will be joining. I think he has internet issue. If I can see that you are the host, you can help mute other participants because we have a lot of mic on mute now and it's actually interfering with the session. Thank you. So you can also hand over the mic when he comes back. The
I'm
host.
back. Is the network, please? Is disappearing and appearing. It is well. Okay. We talk about time management. While an essential quality, it is also teachable skill. Social workers typically have too little time in the day to complete their work. As a result, they must find a way to allocate the right amount of time to the tasks they face. And the last one here is interviewing. You talk about the interviewing skill. You know when to ask and what to ask and how to ask. Interviewing is an essential skill in social work. Social workers can learn techniques to improve information gathering. The essence of you interviewing your client is to gather information. So social workers can learn techniques to improve information gathering through the use of multiple question types that can be tailored and used across many situations, including open questions. When you give an open question, it simply means that you want your client to express himself or herself. They will talk at length. It's like what we say in research, where you give an open-ended questions, even in questionnaire, or you are using what we call unstructured interview. So that is open questions. Here can help the service user feel listening to. That is, your client will feel listening to, that you want to hear them. Then when you talk about closed questions, your client cannot go outside the options you are going to provide. That means it is a closed-ended question. One of the closed-ended questions is that you will have options for your clients, and your clients cannot go outside the options you have provided. One of them is yes or no question. It is a closed-ended question. Your client cannot go beyond that. It's either you say yes or you say no. So those are closed questions, useful when only a short answer is required to confirm yes or no. Then there is what we call indirect questions. They can be helpful to phrase questions as sentences, providing flexibility in the length or type of response. Then you also talk about probing questions. You ask such questions in order to probe further, to get information. Maybe your client is not ready to divulge. You just throw one or two probing questions, elicit more concrete answers or greater detail when you throw such probing questions. Then we also have what we call hypothetical questions. These are valuable for encouraging the client to think positively about a possible future. Hypothetical questions. No single question type should dominate. It is better to use a range of questions to encourage a natural conversation rather than an interrogation. Instead of you interrogating, let it be, a natural conversation. Social work can be a demanding industry that requires working with people with diverse needs. Individuals in this field must develop a unique skill set to excel in the workplace. Learning about these required skills can help you determine your social work abilities and areas that need improvement. Employment in the field is growing fast. And I know that some of you in this class, maybe you'll be accountant, you quickly want to get the certificate so you can japa, or because you have the money and you need something to help you establish your own NGO. We are watching you 3D. Maybe you are even here, you are a pharmacist. Because, okay, I just spoke about somebody now. Okay, your sins are forgiven. So we said employment in the field is growing fast. For example, the United States Bureau of Labor statistics predict job will grow 9% by 2031. That is why many people are quickly doing social work now so they can join that 9% by 2031. Faster than the average for all occupations. About 74,700 openings for social work. Social workers are projected each year. You get it? 74,700. So that's why many people are doing this social work. Not that some of them are already in the profession. So they just want to get it and give them themselves that opportunity. That 74,700 openings for social workers are projected each year on average over the decade. Social work skills include soft skills, such as organization and communication and technical skills directly related to the job, like client evaluation. Social workers develop these skills through education, training, and experience. That's what we call experiential knowledge that you only acquire by the time you get to the field. They should continually practice and improve their skills to keep up with job demand. Social work is a profession committed to helping individuals and communities work through challenges they encounter in everyday life. Social workers are employed in various settings to advocate for and improve lives. They may work with general populations or specialize in areas such as mental health, children, or veterans. Their roles can be very beneficial to others as well as for themselves. A social worker helps individuals, families, and communities access valuable resources. If you don't know where to get that resources, how will you help others? So that is talking about the agencies that provide such resources. A social worker helps individuals, families, and communities access valuable resources to improve their health and well-being. Depending on your social work specialty, you may have various responsibilities and work in different industries, such as education. We have school social workers, such as education, healthcare, and government. Understanding more about this job can help you determine whether this career path is right for you. A social worker helps individuals and families improve their quality of life by ensuring access to basic needs and advocating for an individual's human rights. They promote social change and empower their clients. Social workers help the people they work with by analyzing the environment, relationships, systems, and policies that impact their lives. Common challenges that social workers guide their clients through include poverty, child abuse, unemployment, mental illness, drug addiction, and trauma. Social workers build relationships based on trust and compassion. They identify the issues their clients are experiencing and implement solutions, such as physical relocation, therapy, or employment assistance. So we want to look at different levels of social work, different levels at which different social workers are working. And there are three major levels. You have micro social work, you have meso social work, and you have macro social work. There are three levels. Okay, before we go into the levels, I don't know if anybody has any question from what you have discussed so far or what we have talked about so far before we move to the levels of social work. Any question on what you have said so far? I don't know if Yabo or Adejumo can want to say something.
Sir, I wanted to ask this, the empathy, communication, organization, critical thinking, and all of that, they are characteristics of a social worker.
Talk
Because I
about
don't.
skills and characteristics of successful social workers.
Okay, sir.
That is that subheading of that part. Skills and characteristics of successful social workers. Those are the 17 we've just talked about. Okay, Ernest. Okay.
Yep.
Raise up your hand.
Yes. Thank you very much for your extensive experience in social work.
Thank you so
I've
much.
been a social worker for 12 years in Australia.
That's
and
a
we
good
can't get
number.
enough. Yeah, and we can't get enough people to work as social workers here. We struggle to get fine staff. You mentioned about culture. Just to add up to something I've noticed my practice here. Culture is one of the bases of the practice here in Australia because you meet people from different ethnic background. And also, you mentioned listening. That is also very interesting. I just want to thank you and let you know because I'll be leaving the program now. It's
I'm with you,
midnight here.
madam.
Yeah. I'll be leaving the program now because it's midnight here, sir. Please. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. I'm leaving the program now, sir. I don't know. Hello. What is happening?
I think he has internet issues. Fine.
It's network.
Anyway, I don't know if I should continue saying something or just leave.
No, we all share, we all learn from one another. For the fact that I'm the one on this side of the table does not mean that I have it all. You are on the field,
Okay.
I'm in the class. And when you talk about experiential knowledge, you have been on the field for 12 years, if I'm correct.
Yes, I've practiced in Australia and I've practiced in New Zealand. So, and I've got a master's degree in social work.
That's it. So it is always good, you know, the essence of this online program is to
Nice
no. Chai. What's the number? Chai.
Mine be Ninja for you.
Yeah, but hopefully he will come back again. But I am so much impressed by what they've been saying. To be honest, I didn't expect this volume of information, which is exactly what we do here.
Mr. Ernest,
Yeah.
we're coming to join you in Australia.
This lecturer is good.
Yes,
you see, with this profession, you don't make much money, but the job is everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
my sister is in Australia too. She studied social work.
Where is she in Australia? I live in Darwin.
Adelaide or something.
Adelaide is close to where I am. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So that is it.
Yeah.
So many of us, you know, like what I just said about the opportunity enormous in the field. The opportunities, you can see what Madam Okaidu said, that they lack competence, they need people to work. So, and what was projected from what I said in America, that each year they'll be opening for about 74,600 people. And that's why I see many people in Nigeria doing everything to get a certificate, a degree in social work. You get it?
Yes.
And
yes, but
it is the same thing everywhere. The issue of culture, the issue of listening. A social worker is like a man standing between the challenged person and the solution, you know, for that person who is being challenged. So you need to bring them close and find solutions to their problem. Some people even see it as a calling, that you must just be there, you must have that passion, the empathy, the compassion for people, for those who are vulnerable. And that is what the discipline is all about. So I can see Mr. Anthony Wanze raising up his hand. I can see Faith Annie George raising up her hand. Let me hear from Anthony Wanze first.
Thank you. I have a question, and my question is on culture and law. You talked about Nigeria.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah. My question is on inclusivity.
On what?
Inclusivity and law in Nigeria.
Okay.
Issues of maybe
not neglecting others, not marginalization.
Yeah, people who decide to say they are not. Can you hear me?
Mr. Anthony.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Mr. Anthony.
Okay, sorry. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, I will go ahead with the. Okay, maybe let me pause. This is important for the lecturer to hear.
Inclusivity. Okay.
Mr. Okebo, I sent you a private message.
Okay, let me have a look. Yeah, let me have a look.
Oh, I thought you left. Okay.
No, I've not left. I'm just listening to the last phase of this conversation.
Okay.
Mr. Anthony.
I can't find the message.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My question is on those who decide to see themselves as lesbian, gay, versus the law. I'm talking about the culture and the law. You know, in Nigeria, because you talked about the fact that at what point does a social worker in a country that those as in Nigeria is not allowed, in terms of the fact that if you come out to say this is your belief or your person, in Nigeria says that, oh, this is not part of, we are not recognizing this. But as a social worker, as a professional social worker, because when you were actually providing example of those you call casual sexual workers and equality and inclusivity of everybody of the same belief. As a social worker, how do you, it is important to hold on to the ethics and your practice versus the law. When these are opposing each other, one another, what do you do? But I know as a social worker, you hold on to ethics. How do we balance a country like Nigeria that has actually passed a law against this versus the calling of a social worker? Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony. Whatever you want to do in any country you find yourself is bound by the law of the land. That's why you need to equip yourself.
Well done. Good answer,
please.
Sir.
So you need to equip yourself with the culture, with the law, legal frame of any country you find yourself. Don't say because I am from Nigeria. The moment you cross the border of Nigeria and enter another man's land, it is every piece of the law of that land that is guiding you. Ignorance will not be entertained.
At all.
So you must be conversant with the law of the land where you are operating. Don't say because you are Mrs. Ernest that just spoken now, who is practicing in Australia, and the law of Australia, some of them are not obtainable or functional in Nigeria. The moment she leaves the boundary, the moment she crosses into Nigeria, she begins to function based on the legal system of Nigeria.
Nigerian laws.
Yep.
Have I answered your question, Mr. Nwanze?
Very fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, somebody else also raised up the hand. Who was that person? You've dropped your hand again. Okay. So can we continue with the level of social work? Talking about the micro, the meso, and the macro level.
Macro.
Okay, let's proceed from there. I'm enjoying this class. Even for the network that is giving me doing shakara here. Now Nigeria with this, so you can't compare us with people in Australia. Their network no they shake.
Nigeria for sure.
Excuse me, sir. I will be leaving now. It's midnight here, sir.
Can you imagine? Thank you for your
Yes.
sacrifice. It's okay. You still get the
Thank you.
recording.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
The lecture has been recorded, so you get the audio.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Then later, not
God bless
immediately,
you,
I
sir.
will send the material to the class.
God will bless
Okay,
you,
sir.
sir.
No, because
Thank
I
you,
don't
sir.
send my material at the beginning of my class, so my student will not stop
Thank you,
coming to lecture.
God bless you, sir.
Bye
No
bye,
wahala,
sir.
no
Thank
wahala.
you.
That's why I'm here.
Okay, sir. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Okay,
Thank you,
sir.
Madam Ernest. So let's continue
Mr.
from where we are.
Mr. Ernest.
Mr. Not madam.
Are you a man?
I'm
He's
a
a
man,
man.
sir. Okay.
But you are
I'm
sounding like
Ernest.
a woman.
He's not a woman, he's a
Sir, he
man.
just
Sir.
told you now that he is a man.
Who's Badiro?
He's a
Who's
man,
Badiro?
he's not the other way, sir.
Who's Badiro?
Oh,
Ashipo?
thank you, sir. Bye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
We should be
Mr. Ernest, see you tomorrow.
face now.
So
Let's use
Mr.
face.
Ernest, bye. Thank you. So now let's go to the levels of social work. Here are 3 levels of social work you can pursue a career in. We have the micro social work, the meso social work, and the macro social work. Look at these 3. The difference among them is the coverage. The difference among the 3 is the coverage, the wideness of their coverage. What a micro will cover is smaller to what a meso social worker will cover. And what a meso social worker will cover is smaller compared to what a macro social workers will cover. So it is their coverage, it is the number of people they are dealing with that is very important, or that separates them. For example, let's look at the macro social work. Macro social work involves working with individuals. You can have one person, couples, families, and other small groups to help resolve challenges with mental health and problematic behavior. You are not having a larger number of people you are dealing with. These social workers can work in an agency where a physician may observe their counseling section and prescribe medication to the clients based on their situation and condition. Micro-social workers may also establish their own private practice, where we see one person, 2 people at a time. That is micro rather. They now move to what we call meso. Meso social work. At this level, you deal with a larger number of people. For example, when you find yourself in an organization, you work in a company as a social worker. So you deal with a larger number of people compared to when you are dealing with an individual under micro-social work. A meso-social work is done at the group level, not at an individual level. These social workers usually conduct group section, not an individual section, rather than individual counseling, like working with family groups. This level uses a mixed method model, which means they use their social work and group skills in collaboration with their community work. administrative and evaluation abilities. Usually, these individuals work on multiple projects simultaneously at the same time, requiring strong attention to detail and multitasking skill. You can see them dealing with a larger number of people, unlike when you are talking about meso. So if you are a micro social worker, you can be in a rural setting dealing with, you can as well be in the city, but just see 1, 2 people. Unlike when you are a meso social worker, when you deal with a group of people, a group of families, at a time, working in an organization, you are being invited to a company as a social worker, or they have a what they call it, a workshop. You speak with a larger number of people. But when you cross the line of meso and you come to micro, to macro, that means you have become a global, dealing with states, dealing with country. At this level, you are talking about
community government
of policies. This is where you influence policies. Please, let's mute our mic, please. Let's mute our mic. So when social workers have a career in the macro level, they are working with the community, government, or other large claim systems. You are dealing with the government, how to influence policy that affect the entire country, policy that affect the entire state, policy that affect the entire community. That is working at this macro level. In fact, you can see it as growing from meso. You start your career from micro level, then you move to meso before you come to macro. You can't just become a social worker today and say you're a macro social worker. Because from the micro to meso, you have gathered your experience for you to be a macro social worker. Their focus is on community organization, administration, and policy management. Macro social work's main goal is to improve systemic challenges that impact large communities and cultures. Do we understand these 3 levels of social work? Do we understand?
Yes, sir.
Everybody, not
Yes,
only
sir.
that are
Yes,
talking.
sir.
Yes, sir.
With you, sir.
Okay, thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
Yes, sir. We understand.
Understand.
Okay,
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We are with you, sir.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
What does a social worker do? So what is the responsibility of a social worker? Social workers assist people with
Educational background.
either a total, a stark illiterate,
So your
or
line
you
is
are a
breaking.
professor.
Oh. Your voice is breaking. Sometimes I will not hear you. Sometimes I will hear you.
My voice is not breaking, na network, you.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. Social workers assist people with a range of educational backgrounds and economic statuses. What does that mean? Irrespective of your socioeconomic background, either you belong to upper class, middle class, lower class, even there is what we call underclass, that has nothing to do with social workers. They attend to everybody irrespective of your economic status. They help, they assist people irrespective of their educational background. Either you are a professor or you are a stark illiterate. They recognize how a client's background can affect their mental and emotional well-being. I'm telling you the truth, if you are financially down, it affects your thinking. It even affects your courage. Poverty is a disease. Honestly.
Yes, sir. Very important.
It affects
Very bad.
everything about you. Even when you have an idea, you keep it to yourself. Because we want to listen to you just because your economic status is 0. But that has nothing to do with this, with a social worker. Irrespective of where you belong to, you know, in that line, they are ready to attend to everybody. They recognize how a client's background can affect their mental and emotional well-being and response to treatment method. Social workers understand the unique needs of the lifestyle sector in their area and engage with clients respectfully. They understand the unique needs of the lifestyle sectors in their area and engage with their clients respectfully. Social workers' responsibilities. Because all this we need to know, remember the title of the course is Knowledge, Understanding, and Skills. So we need to really equip ourselves with all this knowledge. When we know, we need to understand them. When we understand them, then we need to know how to utilize them. That was about the skill. That you now understand become your skill. Social workers' responsibilities. While their job duties can vary based on their employer, location, and specialty, social workers typically have the following responsibilities, irrespective of your areas of specialization. These following responsibilities are common to social workers. Meet with clients to assess their situations and needs. Gather patients' information to understand. Please, let's mute our mics. Aningozi, please mute your mic. Aningozi George, mute your mic. Thank you. Hanoye Mawot, please mute your mic too. Let everybody mute his mic or mic. Thank you. So we are talking about social workers' responsibilities. And we said one among them, irrespective of your area of specialization, the underlisted responsibilities is common to all. Meet with clients to assess their situations and needs. Gather patients' information to understand the best treatment or counseling plan. Support clients experiencing challenges such as unemployment. Refer clients to other specialists or sources for assistance. Monitor clients' progress and maintain record or case file. Advocate for their clients to promote awareness of community needs. Work with lawmakers, organizations to develop or implement social programs or community resources for social change. All these are part of the responsibilities of social workers. Like we have said earlier, social worker skills. We've talked about this before now. Here are some skills you may find helpful to develop in this position. Cultural competence, knowledge of mental health issues, and cognitive development. You know, you need to have that knowledge of mental health, even if you are not a medical social worker. So when you see a patient, you know, demonstrating any of that, so you can do the necessary referral, either to a psychiatrist or a medical social worker. They talk about social skills, counseling and coaching abilities, active listening, critical thinking, problem solving. Please. Mute your mic. I just said that.
You can mute from the side.
Don't know how.
I think we should know that by ourselves. This.
Mute
We have
everybody.
said that at the beginning of the class. Okay. Social worker skills. We said cultural competence, knowledge of mental health issues and cognitive development, social skills, counseling and coaching abilities, active listening, critical thinking, probing, problem solving, communication and interpersonal skills. So once you look at types of social workers, if you are one or you want to become one, so you can see where your strength lies. If you are interested in a career in social work, there are a variety of concentration from which you can choose. While social work provides support and resources for various groups and individuals, their focus and expertise can vary. Understanding the different topics within this field can help you determine which one to pursue. Social workers often focus on a specific area of need for clients or communities. Some common types of social work include one, clinical social work. Clinical social workers can provide counseling treatment to clients with substance addiction, mental illness, and cognitive disabilities. They perform assessment, diagnosis, and treatment while recommending prevention suggestions to their clients. A clinical social worker can work one-on-one with a group or with families to provide support. They can also work in various settings, such as private practices, hospitals, and mental health facilities as a clinical social worker. We also have child, family, or school social worker. Children and their families experiencing social or psychological challenges in school, at home, or in their communities may seek the help of a specialized social worker. This type of social worker protects children by assessing the suitability of the educational, home, or neighborhood environment for the child and their guardians. They may say the neighborhood in which that child is being, raised is not suitable based on what the child is going through. They advise and, they make, what's it called now? Different suggestions. They work with families and school staff to resolve issues and focus on child welfare and protection. That's why we are meant to have school social worker in every school, both private and public schools, even in the universities, in higher institutions. We need school social workers. We need them. And if a child is having issue, if a student is having issue, after assessment, the social worker will tell the management what should be done or send his recommendation to the management concerning that particular student. Child and family social workers place children in foster care when necessary. If they see that the house, the family is becoming problematic or becoming toxic for the child, they can, include in their recommendation that the child should be removed from the family and place that child in a foster parent. They can work for schools, government entities, and foster care agencies. Then we come to medical and public health social worker. Individuals with health conditions or chronic illness can work with a medical social worker to navigate medical challenges. The social worker assists by providing coping mechanisms, counseling, and medical referrals to the patients and their families. They also help patients seek public resources and coordinate healthcare services. A public health social worker may also strive to limit the spread of diseases and help communities overcome widespread illnesses and disaster. Medical social workers work for hospitals, government agencies, and healthcare providers. You can see the difference between medical and public health social workers and clinical social workers.
The last one I did was soda.
You said what?
Look, her leg bigger than yours. Her leg is very big. My leg is longer. Okay,
but madam, you can't be telling us your leg is longer in the class. Adejumo, keep quiet now.
I'm very sorry.
Mute your mic. Mute your mic now.
I brought out oil now.
Jovita. The next one here is mental health and substance abuse. We have social workers in this area too, to attend to people with mental health and substance abuse. These social workers coordinate and provide therapy, rehabilitation, and counseling to patients with addiction or mental health challenges. They help patients find affordable rehab centers and counseling programs based on their challenges. Mental health and substance abuse social workers also handle outreach and preventive programs to locate individuals in need and provide timely care. Mental health and substance abuse social workers may work for hospitals, residential treatment facilities, community organizations, and government agencies. We can as well have community social workers. Community social workers. A community social worker provides resources and improves the social justice environment of a particular neighborhood. They can advocate for such community that is being marginalized, town or city. Rather than interacting with individual clients, they work with a large group of community members. Their advocacy is not for individual, it's not for what an individual will benefit. Rather, it's for what the community will benefit, like putting in place community health centers, like providing good road, like providing a good pipe-borne water. That is what everybody in the community will benefit, not what an individual will benefit. So a community social worker is someone who is working towards the betterment of the entire community, not an individual. This community social worker can come under a macro social work. You know, we talk about micro, meso, and macro. So if you are dealing with entire community, you fall under this group of macro social workers. Then also, a social worker can work with the military. You have military services members and their families face unique challenges, especially those veterans who are having some challenges. They need social workers to work with them. And these social workers working with them also working with their families. because the challenges of these veterans can strongly affect their families. So working with the veterans and their families, we help them to have a coping mechanisms, with the veterans, especially those who are having post-traumatic stress disorder. That is something that is common among the veterans, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Military service members and their families face unique challenges before, during, and after their military service, and can seek the assistance of a military social worker who understand their needs. These social workers assess the well-being of service members, identify post-traumatic stress disorder, and recommend treatment plans. They also help families cope with their relatives' deployment or injuries from serving. Military social workers commonly work for the government, but they can also work in the private sector for health centers that frequently serve military members. Now, we look at requirement for becoming a social worker. Requirement for becoming a social worker. Social workers complete specialized education and training to enter the field. Here are some requirements to become a social worker. Like we said at the beginning of this class, that some of the skills you require could either be innate or acquired. They will be what? Innate or acquired. Innate simply means inborn, or they may be acquired through learning, going to school. So social workers complete specialized education and training to enter the field. Here are some requirements to become social worker. One of them, the first among them, is education. Most social workers earn a Bachelor of Social Work. At a minimum, a bachelor's degree in social work typically takes 4 years to complete. During an undergraduate social work program, you take courses in various areas, including human behavior, social welfare policy, research methods, case management, and ethics. Most bachelor degree programs require completing an internship or field work to graduate, while you can find entry-level jobs with a bachelor degree. Many social workers earn a Master of Social Work, MSW degree, from a program accredited by the Council of Social Work, by the Council on Social Work Education. And in Nigeria, we have various universities, running master's degree program. We have like University of Ibadan, you have like Lagos State University, LASU, like Unilag, like Nsukka, Nigerian University of Nigeria, Nsukka, like Federal University of Allied Sciences, Enugu, running master's degree. Federal University of Allied Sciences, Enugu, we launched their masters in social work, masters and PhD in social work this year. The form will be out by September, October. If you're in the East, it's an opportunity for you. It's the latest federal university in Nigeria, and they are starting their masters and PhD in social work come September this year. In some states, earning your MSW degree is a requirement to become licensed. Is a prerequisite for you to earn your license. You can't be a first degree holder and you are carrying license. Yeah. And luckily for those of you in this class, it's going to end up with you receiving your membership certificate. At the end of this program, you'll be given your associate member of the Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners of Nigeria. And with that certificate, you now apply for your license. So you become a licensed social worker. So, and you become a chartered social worker as well. So you are just in the right place now. to just earn your license, to become a licensed social worker. And you can add to your name the appellation of SW. You know, that is what we put in front of our names after this program. You just put SW in front of your name, social worker Adejumo or Eoluwa. You remove Mrs. and put SW. As other people have DR in front of their name, doctor. Other people have engineer, AENGR in front of their name. So you also put SW in front of your name. You become a social worker. You get it. So that is it. So that is just it. Talking about the educational aspect of it. So in some states, earning your MSW degree is a prerequisite or requirement to become licensed. And having this master degree can also help you expand your job search. A graduate program typically takes 2 years to complete. That is your master degree. 2 years to complete and involve combination of coursework and supervised field training. Other degrees for social work include doctorate in social work, DSW, and you also have PhD in social work. I would like to draw the curtain here because I told, I think it was Mr. Ernest that, I think it was the one I told that if I stay longer than 2 hours, you can leave the class. And I never knew it's away from Nigeria where it is already midnight over there. But I think stopping in this page 9 out of 32, we have been able to do something. Except there's anybody who has a question. We continue from training. Okay, let me just accommodate training before I draw the curtain. So after education, the next thing is training. Many employers prefer to hire social workers with work experience. And that is one thing you don't buy from the market. You acquire experience by practicing. You understand? You talk about years of experience. So many employers prefer to hire social workers with work experience. After graduating with social work degree, you can complete training, such as internship. That is where you'll be attached with, somebody who has been on the field for years to learn. That is now practicalizing what you have learned in the classroom. Such internship or supervised clinical experience. During this training, you may work under the supervision of a licensed or experienced social worker. You can use this training to apply your classroom knowledge in a practical environment and develop valuable skills to prepare you for a career in social work. On this note, I want to draw the curtain that will continue from license when we meet next week. I don't know if anybody has any question to ask before I call it a day.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you for excellent class.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Please, I think I have a question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Shola Edejule.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I'm hearing you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Someone said he or she has a question. That is Mr. Shola.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hearing you.
Firstly, I want to appreciate
Thank you very much, sir.
of the way you speak.
Please speak up, please. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I want to appreciate I want to appreciate the way you analyzed everything, and I have learned a lot.
Thank you so much.
That's firstly. Then secondly, I'm actually a field social welfare here in Delta State, and I've gathered some experience on the field. And can you hear me clearly?
Please, others, mute your mic. Somebody is talking. Please mute your mic.
Can you hear me clearly?
Let others mute their mic. Okay, you can go ahead, Mr. Shola.
Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, so I said I actually work in the field here in Delta State, and I've gathered some experiences. And they did a program in Asaba. It was, I think gender-based. It was an international program, and they were like, we were supposed to go to the field and gather data of people that abuse children. So my question here is, gathering this data and sending it to base is not a problem, but especially for the interiors, they will know that the information that was spilled out was given by a social welfare officer, and there's no medium to protect these social welfare officers, especially in the interiors. And the perpetrators of this act are mostly people in power. Are you listening?
I'm hearing you.
You see something like a politician with thugs, and you hear what happened, and you know that if you go far, they pick it up and send these messages out, and they come to really prosecute these people. They will come after you. So I was like, I don't know, in your experience, this is Africa, in your experience, how do you think a field officer in the interiors can act to protect themselves from this? Because that is one. Secondly, there was another case of same, how do I put it, sexual harassment. It was the man is dead. His friend that was helping the mother out to help them. So he slept with a girl that's
Please,
below
let's try
7
and
or
make our
so.
questions brief. It's past 2 o'clock. Most of us are working
Please
with
mute
time.
your mic. You can leave the class at least 2 o'clock. I'm
Hello?
also here.
Hello, sir.
I'm hearing you, Mr.
So
Chola.
I was like, when I got to meet the person that was handling it, he had to, because I was not there, he gave me the information. When I went to meet him, he like stepped on it that they have handled it, as in is the way they cover it, especially in this rural area. So I want advice. How would a social welfare officer come along to attend to these issues that are very dire and eating up the society?
Well, Nigeria is a place where, like you said, the acts were being perpetrated by the people in power. You know, Nigeria is a place where the rule is only meant for the poor. Quite unfortunate that rules are only meant for the poor in Nigeria. You know, there was a guy, they call him African Shana or something like that. He said, when a rich man steal money, you will not see their faces in Crime Fighter. There was a program there, they call it Crime Fighter. But when a poor man steal Maggie, they will bring him to Crime Fighter. It is quite unfortunate that we find ourselves in such a mess. But because, like we said, part of you trying to have what we call self-care is to also protect yourself, not to endanger your life, you know, over a matter. All you need to do is to report the case. Like I said at the beginning, that social workers are not police. We are not law enforcement agents. Your facts and you have your feet. You go to the appropriate place. This is a case. They can investigate it. You get it.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for you to answer the question that someone asked on the chat so I can leave. Difference between clinical and the medical social work. I don't know. It's like he has left. Too.
Hello?
We lost the network.
Okay.
Okay, maybe we'll just ask next week. Because I also want to know the difference.
We lost him to network.
Hello, Mr. Shola.
Sir?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Hello, Mr. Shola, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So like I said, it is not for you to carry out arrest. But in every police station, you have social worker there. You have a social work desk there. You report the matter with your evidence. So it is left for them to, to do the needful. Yeah. It is for, then there are some other agencies that are, in charge of different areas of abuse. Like traffickers, you have, what's it called now?
NAPTIP.
NAPTIP for that. So you report the case there with your evidence and your proof. You get it? Because if you want to go all out and do it, we are endangering our lives. But you need to do the needful. Thank you.
Okay.
Annie, cousin, you raise up your hand.
Yes, I wanted to ask the difference between clinical and medical social work, as well as public health social work.
Well, like I said during the course of the lecture, although they have similarity, but they are, for example, when you talk about public health, one thing you mentioned there, public health social worker, is that one primary area of public health is prevention rather than cure. That's the primary area of public health. So a social worker in that regard try to see how they can curtail the widespread of a disease. You get it? And they also carry out, what's it called? They educate the populate, the people about the outspread of a disease and how they can as well prevent it. But when you look at the clinical social worker, their job is mainly on these people suffering abuse. Their job is mainly on people suffering abuse, people who have cognitive problems, mental health. You get it? That is their major area when you talk about the clinical social worker. The clinical social worker. They provide counseling treatment to clients with substance abuse. They have their what do you call it, the specialty, the addiction. That is where you see major people in clinical social worker. People with substance abuse, mental illness, cognitive disabilities, people with these are people with autism, things like that. That's where you see clinical social worker. But when you talk about medical social worker, they look at people not only with mental retardation, but people who are sick. People in the hospital that could not afford the medical bills. They look for agencies. They give them referrals. Individual with health conditions and chronic illnesses is different from issue with mental health. Clinical medical social worker, look at people that have with mental issue, substance abuse. I don't know if you have gotten the differences now. Annie?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Can we call it a day until next week?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. God bless
Thank
you.
you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Jovita.
Thank
Sir?
you.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir. God
Amen.
bless
Thank you,
you, sir.
sir. God bless you. We enjoyed the lecture. Well done, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
God bless you,
Sir,
sir.
God bless you.
Bless you, sir.
The
Thank
next
you so
week.
much.
God bless you.
Jovita.
A beautiful lecture.
Thank you. Jovita,
Sir?
you call me after now.
Yes, sir.
After this class.
Yes, sir.
You and
God
on
bless you,
Friday.
sir.
Amen. Thank you. You and Friday. Let's talk.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Bye. Yeah. Okay.